morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I'm gonna have to let you guys know I've been pretty sick this last week. I've been pretty under the weather, so I got some really nice meds from the doc, and hopefully they're gonna carry me through this. But it's good to be here because yesterday I didn't think I was going to be able to do this, but I did not want to postpone it any further. We've got some good momentum behind us. We've cleared some really important votes, and we've got one of our most important votes up right now for our tokenomics. And so we're going to be hitting that pretty hard and going over that and the philosophy and the both the philosophy and the economics behind what we're looking to do with our tokenomics, because it is going to be breaking the mold. We're going to be breaking that mold that was established a long time ago for the project. And and I have to admit, we're going to be winging it a little bit this time. I haven't had very much time to prepare, but like I said, I didn't want to postpone this. We've got the holidays coming up, and then we got the new year coming. I can't believe it's already 2025, guys. How you doing, man? Hey, Shane, how's the hand? Can you hear me?
I can. I'm not sure Shane can.
Oh, it's not working. Well, Shane's with us, but see, this is what I got to be careful of. I can go into a coughing fit if I'm not careful, but good to have you here, Shane. Sorry to hear about your little encounter with the pit bulls or whatever they were. It was probably a Chihuahua. I don't know. But nope,
yeah, I've got you now, Shane.
But how you doing, Dave? I see you got your Christmas jumper on.
Just make sure everyone can see the full Homer Simpson.
Oh, there you go.
Christmas jumper. Yeah, I had a festive spirit. I live by myself, so I don't have a tree, but I can always decorate me. That's how I see it now. But it's good to be here.
Well, Shane, if you can hear us, you can speak with speak with emojis and hand emojis like ha 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 and yeah, I believe. Ouch. Yeah, I see. Well, get that taken care of, man. Hopefully you've got some antibiotics or something for it at least. I don't know, but good. So
painful. That looks mighty painful.
Yeah, it does look like it was. Big Bear is going to try to join us at some point. He's traveling. Nostrimju is at work. I haven't heard from Crypto Casino, but I know this is kind of what we need to do for some. Here's the thing: it's kind of hard, difficult, because if we were to do it later in the afternoon when people here in the U.S. aren't at work, then it would be midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning there for you, Dave. Like when we used to have Dead Poet on, he would be on at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning. So for us to do these, but and I have reached out to Dead Poet, and hopefully we can reconnect. He got really sick. He needed to take a break from everything. So, but I hope to have him working with us on a few side projects here coming up. Some of the other things that we're going to be working on. He's a good man, and I miss him. So if you're watching, bro, hit me up. Let's reconnect. I know you were going through some stuff, but we'd love to have you back on the map here with us. So, but yeah. So, like I said, this is kind of very unscripted, to be honest. And we're mainly here to talk about this tokenomic vote that we have up. But before we did that, I wanted to share a little bit about myself with everybody. We are going to be having a vote coming up to ratify having me lead the team. All of these things, eventually, anyone who is now, it'll be different in the future, but anybody who's looking to be on the Mastermind Council or lead the Mastermind Council will be voted on it in the future. Right now, it's those who have hung in and stayed with the project and kept the project going. So, but at some point here in the future, we are going to be voting on these things. And I want to make it clear, the Mastermind Council, the way I see this happening, the Mastermind Council will actually be the governing board of the project. And then you'll have myself and Deli, Shane, and Fisto will be, quote unquote, the employees of the project. But I still want, since we're really going through this transition, and no one ever said, hey, we want metal, we want metal to lead the project. We are going to have a vote, and so I'll be posting up my resume and what's happened to bring me to be sitting here today. I can hear something. No? Okay. I didn't know if Shane was trying to talk or not, but for those of you who've been following along, I've been kicking it for about 2 years. Huh? Who's talking?
I think that was Shane that time.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you a little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Let me. I think it's my Bluetooth. I'll get off the Bluetooth and just. It may boot me as I get
That's
off my
okay.
Bluetooth, but
I'll keep an eye.
I'll
I'll keep an eye over here.
All
right. It's hard to believe this, guys. I mean, it's hard to believe this because it doesn't feel like it's been 2 years, but it's been 2 years that I've been kind of taking the helm and kept the project relevant for the community and tried to build. And we've been limited in our scope and our reach, and so I'm going to flip over here. I am going to be slow, guys. If there's anybody making comments, I got it up now. But we've been really limited in our overall capacity to develop and to reach because of our the treasury and the foundation we just haven't had the resources that we need. And so with everything that we're doing now, and we've been discussing this now for well over a year on how we can really, I'm going to have to mute you, how we can really take the project to the next level. And so that's what we're doing now, right? I'm really excited that we can do the DAO registration, working with Robert Lamb. We haven't officially retained him yet, but we are having those conversations. With the holidays and everything, it's probably going to be the first part of July, and that becomes a full force thing. So again, I'm sorry, I'm winging it, guys, but I wanted to give you kind of an idea of my background. I've been an entrepreneur my entire life, from an early age, like 16, actually 12, when I did my first paper route as a kid. And so I've always had my head deep in business, in managing and growing different projects. I went to school. I went to the university for radio broadcasting, marketing, and sales too many years ago. And I'm about to turn 60, guys. I know I don't look 60. I can say that with confidence because I've been told that many, many times. And I look at people, I've looked at some people that are 50 that look older than me. So, but I'm almost 60 years old now. I don't feel it. And I feel like I've got a good 20, 30 more years behind, to go. Let's hope, knock on wood. But I grew up in Southern Utah and San Diego. I was a surf bum most of my teen life. But after school, I worked for a couple of radio stations. I did radio remotes, where you get groups of people at different locations and throw parties and get everybody excited about whatever it is you're doing. And then from that, I became an event coordinator, and I've done a lot of events. I've produced concerts. Firehouse was one of my feathers in my cap. I did a Firehouse concert here in Southern Utah, and I've done Western festivals and the fair, and then when we moved to Southern Utah, I have a son who has Down syndrome. We moved to Southern Utah, and there was really no services for kids with Down syndrome. So I established the Southern Utah Down Syndrome Association, which was a nonprofit. And then I became one of the only legally registered, licensed fundraisers for nonprofits for several years here in Southern Utah. And when I was doing that, I worked with the National Down Syndrome Society, and traveled to Washington, D.C. 5 or 6 times to lobby senators and the House of Representatives to adopt what's now called the ABLE Act. Before the ABLE Act, if a child had less than, if a person with disabilities had more than $2,000 in their account, they didn't qualify for any services. And that had to change. So we got that changed. So I'm familiar with lobbying in Washington, D.C. I've done that several times. And we were successful in getting the ABLE Act passed. I was the president of our exchange club here for about 4 years. I was only the president for 1 year, but it was a 4-year journey to do that. And I even ran for city council. So, and then for about 5 years, I taught marketing workshops, and I helped businesses create content marketing back when it wasn't popular and people didn't know what it was, and they thought it was just a waste of money. So, and leading up to, oh, we got Big Bear in the house. Leading up to, sorry, leading up to, I've got several publications, and most of them all of them I sold. And then I became the editor of the Southern Utah Independent, which is what I've been doing for the last 4 or 5 years. And to be honest with you, it's kind of like a 1 foot in the retirement door for me. But when I came across Axion, I was just excited about the community. I was excited to learn about cryptocurrency. Before I got involved with Axion, I was very critical of DeFi and critical of cryptocurrency. I thought it was just all a big scam. And but I started learning more, and I started understanding it more, and I started getting excited, and I started getting involved with a few other projects. One of them was Coin, and decentralized storage. And so I have a big thing over here that I do decentralized storage on. I've been doing that since 2022. Anyway, I've got an extensive background in managing businesses, and here in Southern Utah, I've even had a lot of experience in helping businesses turn their image around if they've kind of fallen short of what their goals were at one time, and through a lot of PR campaigns and stuff. So I'm really excited to be a part of Axion now. And I've enjoyed the last 2 years, exploring decentralized finance, DeFi, cryptocurrency, blockchain, the whole 9 yards. And I've really did a deep dive into learning and getting to know the ins and outs of a lot of different projects. And so a lot of what we're working with now and a lot of what we're presenting now is the results of all of that research and those meetings and conversations with Travis and with Dead Poet and Poland. He was a big inspiration for me getting involved. And I'd love to see these guys get back involved, guys. I want to be clear. I would love to see some of these guys come back and kind of be a part of things again. But, we're just taking things day at a time. But I'm going to say hi to Big Bear real quick. How you doing, my friend? We can't hear you.
Awesome.
Let me see if I can. Nope, can't hear you. No, that's okay. We couldn't hear Shane either. All right.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, yeah, we can hear you now.
All right.
Okay. I kind of skipped a few things there. I don't want this is not, like a metal fest. But some of the things that we're going to be pursuing are going to be rather ambitious. Okay. I want to be clear. I am going to be pursuing some very ambitious things. Working with Robert Lamb, there's going to be some opportunities here. He directly worked with our state senators and state representatives to get the DAO Act passed for Utah that we're going to be using as our template for registering the DAO as a legal entity. And I hope to work with him and our local, our federal senator and House of Representatives, and I want to explore taking some of this legislation to the federal level. And I want Axion to be one of the driving forces behind that. When I say doing DeFi better together, I really mean that. I think there's an opportunity for us to build something very significant here. So that's really the driving force behind, why I've hung in there for 2 years, exploring DeFi. I can honestly tell you from day one, I didn't know exactly what things were gonna, what we were gonna do, how we were gonna do it, what it was gonna look like. I just knew that we had a community and a project that deserved to have a voice and to be a driving force in the decentralized finance conversations and on the blockchain. So looks like we've lost a couple. Hang on. All right. Say hi.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys can
There
hear
you
me.
go. Woo!
You can hear me now?
I've got to be careful. If I get too excited, I'm going to throw myself into a coughing fit that I won't recover from. It's good to have you here, though. And I want to just take a moment to express my gratitude to everybody who has hung in there or has stepped up to participate in this process with us, namely Big Bear, Dave.
It's all right. I know who I am.
Dave has been, he's been a muse, and he doesn't know this, but he's really been a muse. I've been doing the This Is Not a Shill show with Dave now for well over a year. Can't believe that. And his mindset, the way he sees the blockchain, the way he sees the world, really kind of it was a breath of fresh air, and really just an amazing human being. I can't tell you how much I appreciate working with you, Dave, and just the contribution that you've made over the last 3+ years, and hopefully together we're gonna make some really important changes happen for the blockchain. Shane, I appreciate you very much, bro. You show up, and you know what? People don't realize how important it is to show up, and to be there, and to hang in there when things get hard and things get tough. And you've been an amazing friend and a support in everything that we're doing. And I've learned a lot from you. So I just want you to know how much I appreciate that. And Big Bear, it goes without saying, you and I mean, you're like a brother. So you all are. And so we really do have a very dynamic team here. We have some thought leaders, and thought leaders can actually get things done because we're willing to listen to each other. We're willing to hash things out and to kind of think things through. We've had a few ideas that that we will never bring to the DAO, because it's been through the conversations we've had that it's very clear that those aren't ideas we want to pursue. But but we're here. We are here, I know, to talk about the tokenomics. It's a drastic change. Before we hop on that, I'm just going to throw it out there, since everybody's mic is now working. Is there anything anybody wants to add to? I really want to kind of, Dave, I want to go Dave, Shane, and Big Bear. Just a brief, and that way I can find where
I
I'm
lost audio for James.
What's that?
Anybody else?
I can still hear him. Big Bear's lost your audio.
Oh, he lost my audio?
Yeah, only Big Bear, I think.
Yeah, I can hear you, Dave.
But everybody, okay.
Random.
But Dave, just share a little bit about yourself.
James
Shane share a little bit about himself, and then Big Bear.
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you, Metal, for the wonderful words. I really do appreciate them. They mean a huge amount. And I guess in this space, and my big vision is to try and level the playing field, to try and create more equality of opportunity, alongside digital ownership and transparency. I've got corporate experience in the insurance world and retail world. I've run shops, I've managed teams, and I founded the first sort of real NFT Polygon community for a large number of people rather than just one specific project. So it's been an exciting journey in crypto. I'm still here for creators and for individuals as much as anything else, and that's probably the quick overview. If anyone's got any questions, feel free to reach out to me. If you're reaching out to me on Discord, you might need to bug me a little bit because I'm not very good at Discord, but you can find me other places and I'm very accessible. So feel free to introduce yourself if you'd like to.
Yeah, I don't. Someday I'm going to talk to you about how you got your 33,000 followers, but I'm managed to
right time, right place a little bit, and genuineness. I'd say that's been the key to it.
Yeah, Dave's got quite the following on X, so I know we're going to do some great things. But how you doing, Shane?
I'm doing all right. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Whenever I speak, the camera goes out for some reason. But anyway, yeah, I'm doing all right. We had a little bit of an incident with a dog fight, and my hand hurts. But it is what it is.
And you've been with the project from pretty much from day one as well, right?
Yeah, not as long as Big Bear, but shortly after him. Yeah, he's the true OG. I'm the guy that followed.
You headed up our guerrilla. What was it called? The social guerrillas for quite a while, right?
Yep.
So we're gonna,
For sure. Yeah, we did that for a long time, and we've been trudging through this project through everything. We did the hack, and the community stepped up, and community is basically our project. They stepped up and provided the liquidity to keep us going. And then we moved from ETH to Polygon, and now we're moving from Polygon to Base, and
all about the base.
all about the base.
And Shane, you have always been an amazing networker. I want to say that because you've introduced me to a lot of people, and you introduced me to Dave. I wouldn't know Dave if it wasn't for you.
Well, a lot of those contacts have come from Dave. I'm also a musician in the space, so I've come across a lot of different. A lot of projects ask me to come to their spaces and play songs or make up songs for their projects, and then granted, sometimes it's NFT. A lot of them are NFT projects, and we all know how we feel about NFTs nowadays, or at least how I feel. You can tell by my banter there. But anyway, I've created a lot of contacts within the space based on just being there, just being around, and I try to bring that back to Axion. Like you said, I don't want to take credit for introducing you to Dave, because that was eventually going to happen anyway. Being the powerhouses that we are in, or the influential people
it took you a good half a dozen times to get me to get on the show and to say hi, but yeah.
I think I was the one that introduced you.
Don't belittle that.
I think I was the one that introduced you to Twitter Spaces.
Yeah.
And to get you to get on Twitter Spaces, and then you met Dave, and that was a direct introduction. But I just want to say I can't wait until we can put you back to work in that respect, and have you out there, networking on behalf of the project, because you've always been an asset in that respect. So I appreciate that. And I appreciate the sentiments as well. I mean, a little bit about me, I guess my background, I was a mortgage broker for about 12 years. And then I was always the handyman mortgage broker. And I realized I didn't want to do mortgage anymore. So I got into construction and handyman type of stuff. And that's just kind of where I'm at right now, doing handyman type of stuff. Construction, whatever.
A handyman with an injured hand. So that's
it's getting better. It's getting better. I can use it today at least.
All right, Big Bear, do you want to share a couple thoughts real quick, and then I'm going to jump into these tokenomics.
Yeah, just give me like a minute here. I'm just pulling in to park the truck in a different spot, so I got to keep my head on a swivel with the traffic around here.
Oh, dang, guys. I hope I make it another half an hour. Okay. While you're parking, I'll just kind of just a brief overview. So we've had votes on, what have we had votes on? I can't even think. We've had votes on moving to base, establishing our Mastermind Council and the authority that they have, registering as a legally recognized DAO. We currently have 2 votes in play right now with leveraging the unclaimed Bitcoin in our reward pool. And I will say this: we're approaching 30 days here, and about a half a Bitcoin is all that's been claimed out of the pool. So really kind of speaks to some of the things that we had already believed when we researched the data, that that very, very little of that, the reward pool will most likely ever be claimed. And then of course our tokenomics now. You in a better position there?
Yeah, I'm good now. I'm parked. Can get unstrapped here. So what? A little bit of a TLDR on Big Bear.
Yeah.
So I found crypto, I guess around June-ish, July-ish, 2017. I'd actually heard about Bitcoin back in 2010, 2011, but I faded it. I didn't give it much thought. I had a lot of other things going on in my life at the time, and I was at that time I was forex trading for to make a living, to make income, and I had a few other things where I had some side streams of income coming in, but yeah, I faded the Bitcoin back then. Stupid me. Anyways, I bought my first Bitcoin purchase was at a Bitcoin ATM in one of the big malls here in Panama, and
Wow.
it was a bit of a nerve-wracking thing. You walk up and you feed your dirty fiat into the machine, and then back in 2017 the network wasn't running all that quick, and so I went put the money in the machine, and wife and I went to have lunch, and the whole time we were sitting there having lunch I was just staring at my phone waiting for the refresh. I was refreshing my wallet, and it eventually showed up, but it was I was sweating bullets for a while there. So yeah, just after that bought a little bit more Bitcoin. Had no exposure to ETH at the time, didn't know about it, had no exposure to any alts whatsoever. I was just trying the Bitcoin thing, and I ended up round tripping all the purchases I made, because at the time when Bitcoin peaked in about January 2018, and then CME came online and sort of wrecked the market because everybody was able to short sell Bitcoin without actually having Bitcoin. I ended up round tripping it, and through 2018 and 2019 I just started to dig into the ecosystem at large, all the Ethereum smart contracts, all the other altcoins that were coming out, and yes, NFTs were starting to become a thing, and I really didn't get it at first. Now, as long as an NFT has utility, true utility, I think it's something worth owning.
Yeah.
As far as ape pictures and cat pictures and dog pictures I just don't get it, but I don't have to. People buy them, and there's a market for it, so the market dictates what the market dictates. So yeah, I ended up getting involved in Discord, and through different groups that I was involved in, ended up making some online friendships with people all over the world, and then we sort of ended up migrating into our own group, and we were trying to teach people how to trade and some technical analysis, and I actually ended up developing a couple of custom indicators that we had coded for us, that worked really well at the time, but I haven't used them in such a long time because I really I stopped becoming a trader and I became an investor, and that's when good things started to happen for me. There's just way too many people out there that are very happy to separate you from your crypto, and leverage trading is the fastest way to do it. So yeah, I was part of this group. We had a really good gang going together, and I woke up one morning on May 31st, 2020, and I fired up the rig, and one of the guys in the group said, "Hey, you got to go check out this hex clone. It's called hex 2x or hex 2t." And I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, I found it on 4chan." And I'm like, "What? 4chan?" And I'm like, "Oh man, here we go." So anyways, I hopped over into the Discord, and was trying to get a feel for what the hell was going on, and there were all these zeros. And then the price, I was like, this is interesting. So I think I aped in like $100 worth of ETH, and I got like an absolutely hilarious amount of tokens, and this thing started getting traction, and I was like, oh, this is interesting. So yeah, it was basically like day one, May 31st, I think is the day it launched, and I was buying it up, and there was quite a bit of frenzy going on, and there was quite a bit of there was some animosity coming from other communities, particularly the Hex community. I get it, somebody trying to copy the code and make a better product. That's just competition, and but whatever. It was a good ride. Being part of that was, I kind of really, I appreciated the learning experience very much, because it was something that I needed to go through. I think the more times we can, the more experiences we have in this industry, whether they're good or bad, the more experience you have under your belt, like I said, whether it's good or bad, is a good thing. So it's been a wild ride. Here we are, and coming into 2025 now, and we've all endured this last bear cycle, and it was a brutal one. And I've missed the boat on a lot of what's happened early on in this current cycle, that the bull that we're in right now, because basically when Bitcoin bottomed out at 15K and then turned around, that's when the bull run actually started.
Yeah.
Obviously alts lagged, and there were a lot of pump and dump stuff being done on Solana and Pulse Chain and stuff like that. But and I played around in some of the L2s on Arbitrum and Optimism on Base. They're all good chains. The cheap fees and fast transactions. What's not to like? It's when you've been somebody that's had to transact on ETH at the peak of a bull run, and it's costing you like literally several $100s just to swap or unstake or stake, or just simple contract call functions, and it's painful, because that's it's a lot of money coming out of your pocket every time you want to do a transaction. So I really get the fact that all these L2s have surfaced, and they're providing relief for Ethereum, which is a good thing. They've definitely, all these other chains are helping Ethereum fees come down. I bet compared to what could you imagine what Ethereum fees would be, even though now they are expensive when the chain heats up and activity is robust? Can you imagine what ETH fees would be like if you didn't have all these other L2s that took some of the workload?
Right.
Crazy.
Yeah. I remember there was a time when it was costing me almost as much to purchase or to stake Axion as it was almost costing me as much to stake it as I was buying. Yeah,
exactly. So yeah, I mean, like Shane was saying, when the project actually launched with the smart contracts and the staking contracts and all that, and we got rugged by Ilya, wonderful man, and the community stepped up. Like I was literally flabbergasted. I was gobsmacked that the community raised that much liquidity so fast to facilitate the relaunch. I mean, that spoke volumes, and that's really determines the success of a project, is the community.
Yeah.
And I've said many times over on streams before that Axion has a community. They're just sleeping, or they've gone off and they're too focused on other things. And if we can ignite the flame under this community once again, the sky's the limit, because we are so much more well prepared. And there's so much more that we can do now that we couldn't do before, because of some regulatory clarity, and some avenues that the DAO can pursue, and the community can vote and guide the path forward. So I'm genuinely excited. I've always wanted to see every single person that ever bought Axion do well, and because we have such a high percentage of the supply that is staked, and a majority of that is staked for 15 years. Well, not anymore, but originally. I'd like to see a big payoff for those people that have delayed gratification.
Yeah.
They deserve it. They really do deserve it. And probably the most important thing is I want to see Axion succeed, if only for you, James, if only for you and Shane and Deli and Fisto, like the people that have been there day in, day out through, through a lot of the tough times, it's a lot of the glory times. But you guys have always been there. You've always stepped up, and if I want to see anybody succeed, I want to see all of the blood, sweat, and tears that you have all put into it to become fruitful. So, yeah, that's it. That's kind of it about me for my crypto journey. I mean, I've been a business owner. I owned a waste management company with my ex-in-laws. I spent 15 years in the waste management business. Learned the business all the way from getting my license, driving a truck, driving every single type of truck I could get my hands on, to becoming a safety supervisor, to becoming an operations manager, to becoming a general manager. I've sort of run the gamut on that. Like I said earlier, I used to trade Forex, so market managing money in markets was something that I was very accustomed to. I wasn't like I got into crypto and I was green from that standpoint. I was green from a crypto perspective for sure, and have learned a lot of hard lessons along the journey. But like I said, grateful for every one of them, because everything happens for a reason, and that's one of my personal philosophies. Everything happens for a reason, good, bad, or ugly.
Yeah.
And if you learn the lesson that the universe has presented you with, you come out the other side smelling like a better flower. So yeah, what a time to be alive. $100,000 Bitcoin, and we're closing out this year on a high note with regards to the markets, and next year is going to be exciting for sure.
If I could speak on that just for a second, what Big Bear just said, to reiterate the point that the community stepped up, I can understand why people could possibly get a little bit, I'm going to try to mind my language here, mad, because of the fact that they stepped up. The community stepped up a long time ago. Well, a long time ago in this crypto industry that we live in. I mean, 3 months ago, there were 1,000 projects that existed, and now they don't anymore. But we've been around for what, darn near 5 years now.
Well, 4
From
years
the very
as
beginning.
the Axion token, but yeah, it was longer. If
Yeah.
you look at QT.
And I can understand why people would be a little bit mad, because they helped the community. But what they need to understand is that the mentality before was flawed, and we're trying to do the right things now. Metal, you are an amazing human. I don't know how you accomplish what you've done. I just hands down, hands up, hands everywhere for you, because I don't know why my camera keeps going out when I speak. But anyway, props to you, kudos to you. You've done the impossible, and now you're going to continue to pursue the impossible. And I'm excited for the future, and I'm excited for our team and the Mastermind Council that we have. And I do want to encourage. I know some people out there in our Discord, in our community, that I think should be on the Mastermind Council. I do want to encourage people to apply for that. There is a link. Metal can explain that. in the announcements section of our Discord where you can apply for the Mastermind Council. We need the OGs. We need the OGs of this group to apply for the Mastermind Council, whether you're mad or whether you're satisfied. We need you to apply. We need both sides of the argument to be presented here. I'm not going to call out any names, but I have a few in my mind that I think should apply. I encourage every single one of you to do so.
And we'll get there. We'll definitely get there. Appreciate your thoughts. Appreciate your comments, everybody. And I will say this much, guys. Yeah, I've accomplished a lot. I've managed to hang in there. I've always been told that, what's the word? Anyway, there's a word that kind of stubborn in a lot of respects, but I could not. There's just absolutely no way that we would be here right now if it wasn't for everybody's contribution. So I want that to be very clear. There's no way we would be here without everybody's contribution. So that is appreciated very much. And I'm going to go ahead. I'm trying to mark this. We've got like 10 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and go through these tokenomics, how we came to these conclusions, the philosophy behind them, why we're looking to do things this way. And ultimately, it's that breaking the mold mentality. It's commonly said that, doing the same thing over and over and over, expecting different results is the definition of insanity. And for a long time, we continued to carry that torch with the way things have been, the way things were established and the way things were set up from the beginning. And we're seeing that, for whatever reasons, it has not been enough to carry the project forward. There have been mistakes made in the past. There have been things that were tried in the past that did more harm than good. But that doesn't mean that those things were nefarious by nature. And it doesn't mean that we can't that we can't learn from them. I've always been the type of person who I don't believe there's no such thing as a problem. Only opportunities to solve, to overcome. And so that's the perspective and the philosophy that we've taken in that perspective as we've looked at the tokenomics. So we need to look at this as a brand new token launch. In a lot of respects, that's exactly what this is going to be. By doing a reverse split. And the goal here is that, whatever the value is of your wallet today, is the intention is to have that same value once we reorganize the token and redistribute and relaunch. We do have a few things that we're going to be presenting, a few ideas that we're going to be presenting through votes as we get closer to relaunching the token, that we will present to the community for consideration as we look at relaunching the token. Because we are going to be looking at this as a new token launch. But the only way to participate in the new token launch is if you are a current Axion stakeholder or liquid holder. As it stands, we're just uncontrollably inflationary, and the amount of tokens out there, especially the amount of tokens out there that will probably never be claimed, it's kind of overwhelming in a lot of respects. So we wanted to take what we have now and clean it up and make it a little bit more structured. And so this was the formula we came up with. And the idea is to be as fair and as evenly distributed as possible, so that every aspect of the project has an opportunity to flourish. So by doing this reverse split of 4,500 to 1, that will drastically reduce the overall token supply. A question was posed in our AMA questions thread, that why are we then, in some respects, inflating the token? Because if we were to just do a 4,500 to 1, we would be right around 86 million tokens. But we would be no better off than we are right now at all. If that's all we did, we wouldn't have the treasury today, the Axion treasury. I hold personally, I hold more Axion than the treasury does. I think even Big Bear owns more tokens than the treasury does. I know Living Like Mike has more tokens than the treasury does. There's several people out there that have far more tokens than the actual treasury has, and so we really don't have any leverage. We don't have any purchasing power. We don't have any ability to hire, to pay wages, to any of these things that typically a corporation or a business has. So and that's why we did the 4,500 to 1, was to bring the held tokens down to a number that was very manageable, and then to distribute, and then to create a tokenomics of 250 million tokens, where it's not so inflated that it's going to be out of control. And then we looked at how we could distribute them throughout the project so that we can build moving forward. So we've got 35% that goes to the claim pool. Honestly, if 40% are claimed, I would be surprised over the next 10 years. The claim pool will be accessible in perpetuity, meaning that 10 years from now, if someone wakes up and goes, "Oh, Axion, wow, that's like, I think I own that, and look at how great it's doing," they can come in and claim their tokens. So that was something that was really important to me, is that anybody who held tokens would be able to claim them in perpetuity, because we did, they're staked for 15 years. We're going to have a couple of options when people go to claim their tokens that we will be presenting later as well, and some ways that we can curb sell-offs and the dumping that we've been accustomed to. Every time we've done something where there's been a tremendous amount of support and excitement, it gets dumped on. And so we're looking at ways to mitigate that. So we've got 15% of these tokens will be set aside for the stakers, for staking rewards. And we anticipate that those staking rewards will last approximately 8 to 10 years based on current figures, based on current stakes. But we're going to be looking to replace the rewards with something that doesn't require Axion as the reward. And so there's a good chance that we might reach a point in, let's say, 3 to 5 years, where we don't even have to use any of those tokens, and we can have a vote on whether to burn the rest or to absorb them into the treasury or the foundation. Same thing with the accelerator. We are going to be having a vote and on keeping the accelerator and some ideas around that, how we're going to manage the accelerator, and really it's our way of minting new tokens. So we're going to set 15% of those tokens aside for the accelerator. And we expect that the accelerator will have at least a 2 to 3, maybe even a 4-year lifespan still. So we're going to still have that aspect. But we are taking a nice chunk. 15% will be set aside for liquidity. I'm anticipating that we can launch with a liquidity pool at a minimum of around 200 to 300,000 in our liquidity pool. We'll have a capacity for more, but we want to hold back, and we want to be able to use that pool to leverage as the price goes up. We want to be able to secure it, and if the price comes down, we want to be able to stabilize it. So those tokens will be used from the liquidity pool, and then we'll have a foundation. The foundation will get 10%, and the treasury will get 10%. And as the language says here, our foundation will be for future rewards. It'll be for investing in other projects, building other projects, adding to our ecosystem, and the treasury will be there to continue to cover the bills, keep everything going, keep a team in place, and just keep the management of the project in place. And to get an idea, you'll have to go back. We're short on time. If you go back to the previous vote that we have going on right now for the Bitcoin rewards, you'll see some of the things that we're looking to do with the foundation to add value to the project, create an incubator, to do hackathons. We can create some services around DeFi to further legitimize DeFi, and just to help us grow our footprint on the blockchain. One of the ideas is to lower our interest rate. That's going to be another vote. Right now, it's not going to change, but these are things that now that we have the DAO established, we can look at. Let's see. Just got a message. We can look at. We actually now have some options. Currently, our hands are tied right now. If we continue in the same direction that we're going right now, the project will no longer. We're completely insolvent. So we have to look at doing something drastic and break that mold. We have to break the mold and reestablish the project, and really reestablish what Axion stands for. And I think there's a lot of value in exploring doing things from a, not to say that other projects are not legitimate, but we're looking at legally being recognized as a DAO, and having a voice on the blockchain that is significant and carries some weight. So that's what I'm most excited about. I'm excited about the opportunity to work with Robert Lamb, to have a voice in legislation, and to look at ways. We've got some pretty dynamic opportunities and ideas that we have yet to roll out. And that's going to come over time. Some of these things we don't want to throw out too soon, because we don't want to be front run on these ideas. We want to be the leaders when it comes to these ideas, and to set an example. So that's really what this is going to help us establish moving forward. It's just going to give us a much stronger foundation, and we are looking. Once we get on base, we're looking to launch with a very respectable liquidity pool, and some very dynamic ways that we can mitigate people who were disgruntled in the past who only want to dump on the project, and they're not even going to take the time to see what the project's doing, because that's their mindset. But hopefully we can mitigate that as we move forward and actually get people excited again. I think that really covers it, guys. Any loopholes that you can think of that maybe I missed here?
No, I think the key is the big one is to legitimize the project and the DAO from a legal perspective in the States, which is often recognized as leading the global financial markets, and that's a real key driver behind so much of what's happening at the moment, and what hopefully what we're going through right now will set us up and enable us to do in the future.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, if you don't have, if Big Bear, do you have anything you want to add?
No, I mean, what you said, what Dave just said, it's, we're at a very critical junction with regards to the project. None of these proposals and votes would have been put forth if we didn't think it was absolutely necessary. And all the work that's being done is so that this project can continue to survive. Like Fix was saying earlier, there's thousands of projects that have come and gone, but we're still here. Maybe not, a little battered and bruised, a little down on our luck maybe, but we're still here. The contracts still function, the code still works, and we're looking to, this is in essence, with this current vote with the Bitcoin rewards, this is pretty much like community fundraising again. It's just kind of in a different way. So yeah, I strongly encourage people to pass the vote, and let's give the team enough creative freedom and financial backing to make everybody believe again. This isn't a money grab. There's fiduciary responsibility that and thought that is going in behind every move that's being made right now. It's not like, oh yeah, we want to grab all the Bitcoin rewards and yeah, you see you guys. No, it's not the way it is. That's why there's very specifically in the proposal here is the allocations of what's going to be done with what, and as long as all the parts have enough grease to make them not squeak anymore, then we'll be fine. It's gonna take, it's just, people are gonna have to somehow find a way to trust the process.
Yeah.
And we can sit here all day long, and you can sit here, we can talk till we're blue in the face about making promises or how great this is going to be or how great that's going to be. Well, the proof's in the pudding. Let's just get the rubber on the road and make things happen. And then later on we can say, see, we told you so.
Well, and I also want to speak to everyone who has been a part of the project in the past, whether on the team, whether just a token holder. I don't think anyone, in fact, I don't believe anyone in the past, well, okay, let me rephrase this. Very few people in the past had nefarious intentions. Yeah, we got rugged. That was definitely nefarious. But I think most of the team, most of those who participated on the team over the years, they had a vision too, and they had ideas, and they had goals, and they had, a dream, and whether, for whatever reason it didn't play out, that doesn't mean that what they did was intentionally done to cause that. I can't believe that for 1 minute. And we all know that there were a lot of in the early heyday of the project, a lot of people took home some serious gains, and they made money. Unfortunately, a lot of people have not made money. So, but the one thing that the one opportunity we have as a legally registered DAO is to offer rewards that comply with current legislation. And so we can restore some of these things as we establish them. We can restore some of these things, and we can revisit some of these things. And so I wanted to be very clear. I hold absolutely zero ill will to any previous team member who was behind Axion. In fact, at some point, someday, I hope to meet you guys, and I hope to have conversations and do interviews, because I am documenting this process, and I don't think there's anybody that needs to be thrown under the bus here. DeFi is a new frontier. We are exploring new ideas. We are exploring new ways to bring financial stability and financial opportunities to the masses. And there were some really crazy ideas, and they were fun at one time, and people did okay, and people did well at that time. They just weren't sustainable, and that's really the bottom line. It just wasn't sustainable. So what we want to create is a sustainable process, a sustainable ecosystem that can be measured out, and it has an opportunity to grow, just like any other asset on the market. So that's our goal. But we want to be very clear. We hold no ill will to any previous team members who were trying to make an effort to build out the Axion ecosystem. So I just want that to be known. I mean, heck, I would, like I said, I would love at some point to meet some of these guys, have lunch, and get a few laughs, get to know each other, and maybe even glean a little more experience and education from how they experienced that process. So it's all about learning. It's all about growing. It's all about finding a way to be sustainable. And that's my goal. That's our goal as a team, is to make sure that we're sustainable and that we have an opportunity to build going forward. So
Can you hear me?
yeah, go ahead.
To echo your comments, I would love to get together with some of the old OGs. Any one of them, any one of you guys that are listening, you tell me where to be. Well, if I can make the money to get there, you tell me where to be and what time to get there. I will meet you guys, and you OGs are what saved this project. And I understand why you might be mad, but we are continuing on, and we're going to make this right. And
Yep.
by the leadership that we have right now and the direction we're going, it's pretty much, I don't like to use the word inevitable, but it looks that way because we just have the right people in the right places at the right time. And it really, no offense, James, but it really is just the right time. You know, you were put in the right place at the right time. And
Yeah, and I do feel that way. I don't feel like I'm anybody special, guys. I just feel like the timing is right for me in my life and for the project, and we have a vision. I appreciate that.
No, absolutely. But I just want to leave you with I love everybody in this project. This project saved my daughter's life at one point. I don't know if, I mean, there's maybe people listening that don't understand what went on, but This project not only saved this project, but it saved my daughter's life at one point. And I appreciate every single freaking, I'm watching my tongue here. Every single freaking one of you that helped save my daughter's life. And if you know, you know. IYK, as they say on Twitter. But I'll continue to do my job if everybody else continues to do their job. And I want the community to step up. I want the community to step in and take community roles. And we'll discuss it later in the Mastermind Council. If you want to be part of the Mastermind Council, please, I urge you to please apply, or get a hold of me, and then I'll apply for you. But anyway, that's all I got to say. Thank you for your time.
Hey, thanks. I'm just going to briefly go over a few questions that are here in our thread, and then we're going to go ahead and wrap things up. So I appreciate everybody's.
Hey guys, I'm going to have to drop out here. I gotta run into the store, but appreciate everybody's time. Yeah, let's go Axion 2025.
All right, man. Thanks a lot, man.
See you guys.
Cheers. All right, so let's see. Got a question here. I'm gonna go through a few questions here just to kind of get us caught up on things. Where can we go to get updated on what's going on? Read all of the votes. I'll give you a good idea. Read the last 5 or 6 of our Medium articles. I'm trying really hard to make sure that we're documenting this process. We're migrating to base. We have not initiated that process yet. It was only voted on just about a month ago. We're probably going to initiate the 90 days to based Axion campaign. It will be a marketing campaign. We're going to put some real energy behind this. We're reaching out to some of the leadership on base. And I've learned a few things that I can't wait to share with you guys. When it comes to actually putting Axion, possibly putting Axion on one of the big exchanges. We'll see, but we'll get there. We are still on Polygon, so you can still interact with. Nothing's changed. Nothing's been halted. Nothing's been changed on Polygon. See what's this next one. We're on Discord. We have a lot more lurkers than we have participants, but we're seeing new OGs. We're seeing OGs every day come in and say hi. So we know that we've got a good contingency of our community that's paying attention. We've had on average about 60 to 70 members voting. We want to see more. We want to see a lot more. But we're gonna be okay with what we have. Those that are paying attention, those that are participating, those that are engaged in the project, their voices are being heard, and that's what's really important. So all you have to do is go to the DApp, go to the DAO tab, and you can vote on the current votes, the current proposals. Let's see another one here. Will there be options for 15-year stakes to be withdrawn and other options for new token? Yes. We are looking at a couple of different options that token holders might have when we relaunch on base when it comes to their stakes. We're looking at a stake for stake drop, and we're also looking at being able to claim early with a small penalty. Nothing like the penalties that exist today, but still a penalty to do that and a process. So we are in that respect. I'm confident we are covering all our bases, and we're going to have options, and those will be proposed through the voting through the DAO. So as we continue to move forward. Let's see, 01, let's see this one. Yes, the stakes will continue with the new token. In fact, there's going to be opportunities to stake in the DAO. There's going to be opportunities to stake traditional, just staking. There's going to be opportunities to stake in our investment clubs. We are going to be establishing investment clubs that will be legally recognized as investment clubs in the U.S. If you are part of an investment club in the U.S., you can participate in registered fundraising. Your club qualifies as a venture capitalist or an accredited investor. So we're going to be establishing the bylaws and the rules around our investment clubs, because I do want to see us re-enter the launchpad phase of the project. And we have a couple of very awesome ideas that are coming up around that, where we can participate in supporting projects through perks and through early access. We're going to be looking at humanitarian ways that we can support projects, and we're going to be looking at legally recognized ways of investing in projects, where your investment is recognized as such, and it will pass the Howey test. Is basically what we're looking to do. So these are all first and foremost, those are the things that we want to establish, and the first step in that process is becoming a legally registered, recognized DAO. So very excited to go down that path coming here the first part of January. I think my voice is about toast, guys. I think that's it, man. So now I have the pleasure of going back through this and timestamping everything like I did the last video. That took way too long, but I'm going to still do it.
You need to start playing with the different AI functionality out there and see if that'll do that for you. I can't think of the name of the app off the top of my head, but I will try and I'll try and think of something and send it to you shortly, Mel.
Okay, no, that's good. What I'm going to do, the first thing I'm going to do is, because I actually timestamped it in my own head. I know when we started talking about the tokenomics, so I will have a timestamp for that, so people can go right to this section, and then they can go back and listen to the rest if they want to, and hopefully they will, because really it's about the team. Getting to know the team and participating in the community is really where we're going to have our greatest success. So. And yes, I would absolutely love to have AI help me in that process. That took me it took about 4 hours to timestamp the last video. So, but you know what? It's got to be done. So that's why they pay me the big bucks.
There is that. I assume that you're not around for Spaces tomorrow, just before we wrap this up, and that you're going to be taking the evening off and recovering.
Let me see how I get through the day. I mean, I am finally feeling a lot better. I might want to take another. Well, that means Spaces are down for the rest of the year. Let's do a space tomorrow. If you're up for it,
Okay. Yeah. I'm game. We don't have to commit to the full 2 hours.
Yeah. So we'll have a space. We'll have our space tomorrow, because the next week is Christmas, and then we've got New Year's, and we might even still do just a really short one at the very end of the year, but not next week. Awesome. Appreciate you guys hanging out with us, and looking forward to this new year, guys. I really am. I think we've got an opportunity here to do something real important, and that our voice will be heard. So just got to do one day at a time, one step at a time here. So
we can do take one step forward. Right, I'm with Shane. I'm going to have to run away as well. Thank you very much for your company.
All right, guys.
It's been appreciated.
We're going to close it out, man. Everybody, have a good weekend. Wrong one.